Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Willamette Falls. We are so glad to be together online today. I invite you to find a candle or a chalice at your home to light with us, and join us in our chalice lighting statement. Whoever you are, wherever or whatever you come from, you are welcome here, where we are invited into connection and inspired to spiritual growth. Let us leave this hour together, refreshed and new, ready to ignite action for justice in the wider world. Our opening words this morning are from the Reverend Hope Johnson. This is a meditation that she wrote in honor of Bob Marley. It is called One Love. She writes, "We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits, here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love the best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one. Come, let us worship together." Today, we gather joyously, as well we should, to celebrate the milestones of our children and youth, to thank our religious education teachers, and to celebrate one of our most beloved Unitarian Universalist rituals, flower communion. But we do not celebrate our rituals in isolation, even as we celebrate them in quarantine. But most importantly, we celebrate these rituals while our country is in the midst of a crucial reckoning. A reckoning of white supremacy, of unjust systems, and of violence against Black and brown bodies and souls that has been part of this country since before its official founding. I do not know why now. I do not know why the violence against George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery is finally capturing the collective imagination and perhaps the white imagination in a way that the violence against Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Philandro Castile, Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin, and hundreds of thousands of others did, but not enough. I only know that justice has been too long denied, that America's original sin of racism has been allowed to continue unchecked for far too long. I am afraid for our nation. I fear our president's language of division and authoritarianism, and frankly, fascism. I am angry that he does not even try to be president to the whole country in this time of crisis. I fear the way that angry white people push back when they feel their way of life is threatened. And with a staggering unemployment rate due to COVID-19, folks everywhere are feeling scared. And I am hopeful. I am hopeful that we may actually find a way through this time. I am hopeful that our changing demographics as a nation may eventually help us overthrow the shameful legacy of white supremacy. I am hopeful when I look at the millions of young people taking to the streets, people of all races following Black leadership. I am hopeful that we can begin to imagine bigger dreams than just weeding out the worst offenders. I am hopeful that we can use this moment in time to tackle the entwined evils of racism and unchecked capitalism and environmental degradation. I am hopeful that we can dream bigger, love bolder, and follow the leadership of youth and people of color, and create community-based systems that bring an anti-racist, pro-environmental, restorative justice model of community. In order to get there, we need to dream big. We need to educate ourselves, and we need to do the next right thing. Whether that's marching in the streets, donating money to Black, Indigenous, people of color organizations, learning about institutional racism, or calling your legislators. There is something for everyone to do. And so before we begin our celebration today, I invite you to take a moment of silence with me to figure out what our own next right thing to do might be. Whatever the next right thing to do is, I am sure that it involves singing. Will you join us together as we sing De Colores?
Showers, oh, the
One of the most important things we do as a congregation is to offer religious education classes to children and youth. Very few other ministries of this congregation touch so firmly on all parts of our mission statement: to invite connection, inspire spiritual growth, and ignite action for justice. We are blessed, particularly in our in-person gatherings, to have such enormous participation in our religious education classes. In a congregation with just under 200 adult members, we have 80 regular participants in religious education and serve over 100 children and youth each year. We could not do that without a tremendous amount of volunteer help, and we are so very grateful to our dedicated and loving volunteers. We generally give them a small gift at this time to say thank you. But this year, instead, we are making a contribution in their name to the Clackamas Bookshelf, a local organization that gets books into the hands of low-income kids in Clackamas County so they can keep them. Our religious education teachers know the power of story, the importance of seeing yourself and others represented, and that every person deserves books. We're grateful to our teachers. But before we recognize them, I just want to take a moment to thank our Director of Religious Education, Mary Kroener-Ekstrand. Not only does she lead an enormous program as a half-time staff member, but she has had to work so much harder these last 3 months to find ways of keeping our children and youth connected to their congregation and their classes. She has done this with skill, with grace, and with good humor. And I just wanted to say thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words, Marcia. And I would like to today offer a few special words of thanks and praise to the volunteers who have served as adult leaders in our religious education groups for children and youth this year. These volunteers work hard each week to be sure that our youth have fun and feel seen and heard within our religious community. They help our children and youth learn about our UU faith and values, and they help them have opportunities to explore the many kinds of religious beliefs and spiritual practices that exist in our diverse world. They try to support our young people in personal and spiritual development and in their efforts to live out their values every day. As you know, our in-person classes had to be suspended in mid-March. We would like to recognize how hard that was for our volunteers and for our children and youth in RE groups. There were many plans that had to be set aside, hopes for spring projects and activities that couldn't come to pass, most especially the senior youth service and the Blue group play. Some of our teachers, children, and youth didn't even really have an opportunity to say goodbye, which has been hard for everyone. Some teachers and some families were able to make a transition to participate in online offerings, and we are grateful for the efforts of those teacher volunteers who have been able to do that while recognizing that this simply wasn't practical or realistic for everyone. The work that our volunteer RE teachers do is important and worthy. I would like to lift that up this morning and ask you to join me in offering thanks and appreciation. I'd like to read the names of our teachers: Darcy Tuggle, Samantha Wolf, Laura Bartko, Michael Matsumoto, and Emily Booth in the Orange group. Brenda Kohler, Angie Kohler, and Ron Skoletsky in the Yellow group. Brooke Shirley, Dan Tuggle, and Cliff Haithcock in the Blue group. Greg Penner, Elaine Cozart, Dean DeSantis, Malcolm Hamilton, and Diana Antoniskis in the Junior Youth group. Melina James, Brian Powell, Sarah Kemp Anderson, Steve Cozart, and Richard Powell in the senior youth group. I'd also like to take a moment to highlight that we have a volunteer teacher council, and these teacher leaders have met with me monthly, including into this time of quarantine, to help plan and build our religious education program and keep it strong and vibrant, and I would like to thank them as well. Thank you all so much for your gifts of love and service. We really couldn't do this ministry without you. You are the heart of our work. Thank you. I'd like to move now into celebrating some important life transitions. One of the lovely traditions we have in this congregation is to end each church year or school year by honoring life milestones for our children and youth. This year, there are 7 children in our community who are ready to start kindergarten in the fall. Going into kindergarten is a big step in life. In kindergarten, you will be asked to learn lots of new things. You will have lots of questions, and you will look for answers. One of our Unitarian Universalist principles is all about supporting one another as we ask questions and look for answers. We support you in your search. We know you will make mistakes along the way, and you'll be gaining wisdom as you go. I have mailed each of you a small gift, an eraser. This eraser will help you to remember that everyone makes mistakes sometimes. It's part of the learning process. And everyone here, Reverend Marcia and me and your RE teachers and our whole community want you to know that we are there with you in spirit as you erase your mistakes and try again. Congratulations on the important life milestone of starting kindergarten in the fall. We wish you well and look forward to hearing all about it. We also have 5 young people in our congregation who are moving into middle school in the fall. You too are facing a big transition. You'll be faced with many questions as you embark on this new journey, such as, who am I? Where do I fit in? Who do I belong with? One of our Unitarian Universalist principles calls us to respect the inherent worth and dignity of each person. We want you to hold on to your own worth and dignity in the days to come. I have mailed to each of you a small gift. A mirror with a beautiful tree of life on the front. I don't know if you can see that. This mirror will serve as a reminder to take time to be with yourself. Discover who you are and stay true to your best self. Everyone here, Reverend Marcia and me, your RE teachers, and our whole community want you to know that we are there with you in spirit as you go through this time of growth and change. Congratulations on the important life milestone of starting middle school in the fall. We look forward to hearing all about it. We have 6 youth this year who will be starting high school in the fall. As you move into high school, you will be finding your own way in the world. This is challenging work. We encourage you to remember our UU principles, the ones we've talked about this morning, the search for truth and meaning, and the inherent worth and dignity of every person will ground you as you move through this time. I have mailed to each of you a small gift. It's a compass. We hope this will be a reminder that we want to help you find your way in the world. Everyone here, Reverend Marcia, me, your RE teachers, your peers, and our whole community support you and honor your journey. We hope that you will continue to be active in our congregation and in our wonderful senior youth group. Let us know how we can help you on your journey, and congratulations. Finally, we come to an important tradition in our congregation, bridging our senior youth from adolescence into emerging adulthood. We have 6 seniors from our congregation this year who are active in our programs. I want to acknowledge that this is a really hard time to be making this transition. So many of the traditions and rituals of the senior year have been altered and adapted this spring, or in some cases canceled altogether, and the youth are really feeling these losses keenly. Nothing is as we expected it to be, and there is continuing uncertainty going forward. We as a congregation see you in this moment. We honor your accomplishments. We recognize your complicated feelings at this time of transition. We hold out hope for a bright future for each of you and offer our love and recognition as you embark on the next phase of your journey. I would like to take a moment for a personal note. I am completing my 4th year as your Director of Religious Education, which means this is the first class that I have walked through your entire high school years with you, and it has been a great honor to share this journey, and your class will always hold a special place in my heart. Today, we applaud you for all you have been, for all you are now, and for all you will be. Our congregation has tried to give you the gift of a place to belong, a place of friendship and of growth. We have been so fortunate to have you with us in our community, to walk with us, learn with us, and share with us. We have cherished your voices in the halls of our church, and our community has been enhanced by your presence among us. You are now crossing the bridge into adulthood, into new adventures, freedoms, and responsibilities. May you find the bridge sturdy beneath you, even as the passage may not always be easy. Go in peace, return with joy, knowing that wherever your goals and travels may take you, you will always have a home here with us. As part of our bridging rite of passage, it is our tradition in our congregation to give you symbolic gifts to carry with you on this next stage of your journey. Reverend Marcia and I had the privilege of visiting each of you in person to deliver these gifts last week. Our first gift is a custom chalice, symbol of our common faith, with our own logo custom engraved in the front. We hope you will carry the flame of the chalice in your hearts as a reminder of the love of this community and what this faith can mean in your life. Additionally, we gave to each of you a rose. When we dedicate babies in this congregation, Reverend Marcia gives each child a rose without thorns, that they may walk in beauty, protected from harm. As we send you off into the larger world, we give you a rose with thorns still on. We cannot protect you from the dangers, challenges, temptations, and struggles of adult life. Yet we hope you have all the tools you need, strong values by which to measure the worth of your life, the knowledge of how to think for yourself, a heritage of the right of conscience, and a religious community which calls you to use your conscience in the world while embracing you throughout your life. May your lives be filled with beauty and joy.
Our reading today is on Children by Khalil Gibran, who writes, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and the daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but they are not from you. And though they are with you, they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the place of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but you cannot make them just like you. For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite. And now let us join together in singing, I Know This Rose Will Open.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
Last year, the theme for my flower communion homily was unabashed joy. The joy of children, the joy of flowers, the joy of chaotic energy, family dance parties, and messy bouquets. This year feels different. This year feels like a time to notice beauty in unexpected places. The joy of life overcoming hardship. The joy of finding beauty amidst the pain and confusion and injustice of the world. It may seem shallow or worse, insensitive to notice beauty at a time like this. And truly, if all we are noticing is beauty, we might be missing the point. But part of being a community of faith is both seeing the pain of the world and working to make it better. Because without hope, without that ability to dream of a more just world, we will not work to make it so. We will just give up. But my friends, everywhere, life calls us on to create that beloved community. The flowers and new shoots of spring. The people passing out water and snacks at protests for justice. The absolute silence of hundreds or thousands of people taking a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. If you aren't finding joy in your life, I might suggest a few places to look for it. Most newspapers have an email that is simply good news. I subscribe to the Washington Post's column, The Optimist. From articles about grandparents dancing with their grandkids on TikTok, to people walking around their neighborhood in dinosaur costumes just to have fun, to a young boy who felt bad that his favorite babysitter wasn't going to get her prom, and so he and his family invited her to one, complete with socially distanced dinner and dancing. Good news is out there. It may not lead the evening news, but it is there if you look. Some good news by my account happened on Friday when Unite Oregon City organized a peaceful protest in support of Black Lives Matter. About 400 folks appeared across the street with masks and signs, and I was cheered by how many folks driving by honked and waved. Pat Lycan, the former administrator of this congregation, was also there. And she said to me, "You know that this may be the first time that these people have taken any action for this. Just honking in support, driving past a protest. Who knows what that could lead to?" Norbert Čopek, a Unitarian minister in Prague in the 1930s, wanted a ritual to do with his congregation. Folks who had come from many different religious traditions and so may not have appreciated a traditional communion of bread and wine. He thought up this ritual on a spring day in Prague when noticing the beauty of the flowers. His wife, Maya Čopek, brought the ritual to the United States after the two traveled together to visit, and Maya stayed because World War II was beginning. Norbert Čopek returned to Prague and wound up a prisoner of the Nazis after returning, and eventually died in a concentration camp. But his legacy remains. Beauty arises out of ashes sometimes. Ordinarily, we would have invited you to place the flowers you brought in common vases on our altar, and we would have invited you to look at them together. Today, we are celebrating Flower Communion online, and so we will invite you to hold up your camera or your picture of, hold up your flower or your picture of a flower to the camera on your screen, and we'll invite you to go to gallery view on your Zoom screen. You will be able to see 20 people at once. And you can toggle back and forth between the screens. Hold up your flower. Norbert Čopek used to consecrate the flowers with this blessing. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. Today, as we celebrate our communion of flowers and this community that we are a part of, may we remember our singularity, our community, and that we are each precious and whole and beloved. Blessed be, and amen. I'm going to invite us into our final hymn in honor of the youth, because this is one of their favorites. We are singing Blue Boat Home.
as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, oh, we kindred pilgrim souls, making a way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, neither harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
I invite you to join with me in our chalice extinguishing statement. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. As you go from this place, my friends, dream big, love boldly, dare to imagine a world better than this one, and go out and do your piece of the work to make it so. Whatever the next right thing is, go in peace and go in love, and blessings upon our seniors as they move off into the next phase of their lives. Go in peace and go in love. Blessed be, and amen.